Lake Apopka's come a long way since restoration started by the St. Johns River Water Management District over 30 years ago. The Lake Apopka is the headwater for the Upper Ocklawaha River Basin chain of lakes, also known as the Harris chain of lakes. So the water leaving Apopka, if it's polluted, is going to pollute those downstream lakes. But also it's a great resource for Central Florida.
When folks come here to check out the restoration efforts and everything going on at Lake Apopka, the beauty of it, going out, whether it's birding or bike riding, they come through our downtowns, they spend money in our local businesses, they get lunch at our local restaurants, and it really helps drive the economy here. Businesses cater to it. Businesses love to see those folks that are coming in and may not know a lot about the community, but then they come to check out what's going on at Lake Apopka and take in the sights and sounds and everything going on out there.
Being here in Winter Garden, we're just south of Lake Apopka. We've been riding around Lake Apopka for years. The seasons come and go. We do get a lot of tourists here, and we do steer quite a few of them up, and we rent bikes and let them go up to Lake Apopka and enjoy that.
We're trying to attract new businesses, we're trying to attract new residents, and as we do that, Lake Apopka is something that we can point to that is right in your backyard. That's not something that you can find anywhere else in the state, anywhere else in the country. This is something that's so unique to our community and our economy.
The submerged plants are returning, and we're replanting some of those submerged plants. The fishermen have returned. The anglers have returned to Lake Apopka.
I have seen the fishing on Lake Apopka improve tremendously from being able to fish only very select areas, now being able to fish the entire lake without issue. I'm a largemouth bass fisherman, and I've caught bass as large as 9+ pounds out of the lake. Waiting for that day when I catch one over 10, but there's always tomorrow. The word is out that Lake Apopka is the place to fish on the Harris chain, and if you're not on a tournament specifically on the lake, there are anglers who come from as far as Lake Griffin to get to Lake Apopka during tournaments just because of how well known the fishing is here.
The district purchased the North Shore property beginning in 1996 and opened up in 2015 for the Loop Trail, which is around 20 miles long, and the Wildlife Drive, which is about 11 miles long. And these have become hugely popular for bicycling, hiking. You can drive your car through the Wildlife Drive.
Well, I love wildlife, and so being on a bike, there's no motor, there's no sound. I hear everything. I hear the wind in my ears. I hear birds. I hear whatever. It's being in nature for the entire time you're out there. I'm retired, so I ride on the weekdays, and I try to get 3 rides in. In the 6 years I've been here, I've put 25,000 miles on the bike, so I think that probably pretty much says what it means to me. It's a very, very big part of my life.
Lake Apopka was always known as a good birding area because we think it was part of the migration paths for birds for many, many, many years. And now we've provided so much great habitat on the North Shore that's known as one of the top birding areas in the state.
I've been seriously involved in birding for about 9 years and casually probably about 20 years. We come to anticipate what's going to arrive, and this is a place of refuge where birds that are residents can be year-round, and the birds that pass through have a place of safety, and I just love being out here. There's always something interesting to see.
For many years, the parks around Lake Apopka were pretty empty, and I think people didn't want to come down to the lake. It was so polluted. There was no encouragement to come down and use those parks for recreation. But since the lake is getting better and that water quality is returning, the people are returning.
The lake gets restored, it becomes more and more popular. But I've also noticed a lot of other things that are more low-key, but not to me, and that's the environmental opportunities, ecotourism, I guess you could call it, opportunities to get out and enjoy the lake. A lot of things have been developed, and I love to drive to Magnolia Park and watch the sunset. I don't think you can get a better sunset opportunity. You don't have to go to the beach. It's so beautiful from there to watch the sunset across Lake Apopka. Come and see this resource and learn its history and think about what it took to get from where we were to where we are. And the bottom line is it took people caring and great scientists and just keeping it in the forefront so that it could be what it is today.
We couldn't have done this work without all of our partners, which we really appreciate. and has taken local, state, and community partners, and we really appreciate all their assistance through the restoration project.
Me personally, I've worked with the Friends of Lake Apopka for about 10 years. The history of the cooperation goes all the way back to 1996 when FOLA advocated for the state legislature to buy the muck farms on the North Shore. The district has done an amazing job of reducing phosphorus, reducing invasive aquatic species of plants, and increasing the native aquatic vegetation.
The North Shore was purchased to stop discharges of nutrients into Lake Apopka. Now it provides recreation opportunities for people to enjoy the North Shore, whether it's driving through the Wildlife Drive or hiking or bicycling through the Loop Trail. So those properties will always stay as natural areas, and they're restored wetlands now that provide a lot of habitat for wildlife. I'm really proud that we're seeing the results of the restoration on Lake Apopka since the St. Johns River Water Management District began work on this lake, and we're going to continue that work.